Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to the Women's Successful Summit virtual. That I did that backwards.
Wow. Okay, so welcome to the Women's Success Virtual Summit, Wilnona.
Sorry, I got it right the first two times.
Well, if you guys ever watch our show, you'll know exactly why I'm looking at her and calling her Wilnona, just like that. But I'm Jade.
And I am Wilnona, go figure.
And we are part of the founders of the And I Thought Ladies, and also authors of the And I Thought series, which are available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. But enough about us, because you didn't come here to talk to us. You came here to talk to our wonderful guest.
Cailen Ascher, can you introduce yourself? Tell us what you do.
Of course. I'm so happy to be here with you ladies and meeting all of you for the first time. So I'm Cailen Ascher. I'm a clarity coach for women entrepreneurs, and I work with my clients to help them define their vision that they have for their life and their business, clear any mindset blocks that are keeping them from moving towards that vision, and then together we create a clear plan for success on their terms, whatever that looks like for them.
Wow. I love the fact that it's so like whatever it is for you. No, for you.
Yes, exactly.
I like how you tailored that. That's very great.
Okay, I was going to ask, what is your normal, most challenging, I guess you should say regular mind block, yeah. You did say mind block, right?
Yeah, the mindset blocks that I think one that we all deal with is just self-doubt. I mean, the women that I work with are often in the first year, maybe 2 years of their business, and they're just really questioning whether they have what it takes or not to get to that next level, to bring in consistent money, to find the right clients, and they don't realize that it's just a phase. It's just that startup phase, and we all go through it, and it sucks, and it's really, really hard, but it's something we can move through. But when we let that affect our mindset and it becomes this storyline that we're failures or we don't have what it takes or we're never going to get there, it often leads us to give up on our business and on our dreams. So that's something that I always address with my ladies, is really building up their confidence, because they're amazing and they have these big dreams for themselves, and to help them realize that it's totally possible.
So do you find that easy to go over that mind block, or does it take a lot of convincing?
It depends on the client, honestly. Sometimes we spend a lot of time on mindset work, and once we move through that, everything else just kind of flows. So it's worth spending the time with. I know for myself, it was something that I didn't even realize was kind of tripping me up for. I've had my current business, my coaching business, for just over a year, but prior to that, I had a number of different businesses. I think it's a common thing for entrepreneurs to kind of move from one thing to the next.
Yes.
And I didn't realize that self-doubt was really crippling my success in these previous ventures. And then when I finally got into coaching and I got my own coach who helped me through it, that's when things really took off.
If you don't mind me asking, how did you find that self-doubt was tripping you up?
So I think it really hit me when I was listening to a mentor of mine speak about how she kind of pumped herself up for the success in her business and how she was going to go out there and get these clients and make this money. And I realized I wasn't talking to myself like that. I was getting really down on myself, like, oh my God, that didn't work again. And I can't believe this happened. And it was just this negativity that I was constantly living with in my own mind. And when that light bulb kind of went on, I realized, wow, if I shift this, other things might shift. And so I kind of went into it with some curiosity and a sense of exploration, and not totally believing that it was going to change things. And then it really, really shifted things in my business. And I went from making honestly nothing. I was, totally stuck, unclear about what was going to happen next, to in the fall of 2015, I was bringing in, steady like 4 to 6K months. And then I hit my first 5-figure month in this past February. Was the first time I broke the 5-figure
Congratulations
level, which was awesome. I had a 23K month, and it was amazing. And it was so much due to that mindset work.
Oh,
wow. So I'm going to just write that down.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we literally did just have that moment. One of our co-authors, and I thought I could juggle. We write about like juggling life and business. She's just starting her business, and she was like, no, I'm going to be like franchising, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And I'm like, do you really believe that? How can you believe that? And like in my mind, I'm like, whatever, you'll see how it works. But then like things are working for her. Things are moving. Things are rolling. And I'm like,
We're thinking to ourselves. And I said, if someone can believe in themselves and they literally are just starting to be an entrepreneur, we've been entrepreneurs for years because we're not that old. Then we know what's coming up. We know what a startup looks like. So why can't we believe in our own brand like that?
So did you find it easier to deal with negative thinking on your first time out, or was it like after you had business 1 or 2 or 3 that you were like, oh, this is negative feelings, this is gonna just go nowhere?
I think I didn't really have the big aha until my current business, that there were probably glimmers. I mean, I've watched The Secret. I know about law of attraction. I mean, it was something I was kind of raised on. I was lucky in that way. I had parents who had their own businesses and were very entrepreneurial. And so it was something that kept coming up for me, but I didn't really there was like suddenly this new depth to it that I didn't understand before of, okay, I can't just do these little affirmations that I don't really believe and think everything's going to be fine and be naive about it. I actually have to build in some mindset practices that support me in a consistent way and keep me as even as possible. I mean, we all have our ups and downs. I'm in the middle of a launch right now, so it's a little tough. I'm doing a lot of extra mindset work to get me through it. And it's something that's always going to come back around, but when you have the tools in place, it's that much easier to deal with.
So first of all, go ahead, Jen.
What exactly are the tools that you have in place to fix your mindset?
Yeah, so there's a number of things I rely on, and I always encourage women, that whole idea of success on your own terms, to find what works for you. I mean, just because it works for me doesn't mean it's the golden ticket for everybody, but it includes meditation and visualization. A lot of times beginning that in the early morning is a great time because you hopefully don't wake up in a super negative mood. So you can kind of catch yourself before you start to spiral. I love yoga. I'm actually a certified yoga instructor from a previous business like 5 years ago. So that really helps me. Just getting outside and going for a walk and clearing my head throughout the day, making sure I have time away from my business, time away from my work, like a solid lunch break of at least a half hour, if not an hour. And then before bed, often reading personal development books, reading something that inspires me, and maybe a little bit of journaling. I find all of that really, really helpful. And if I'm having any trouble sleeping, which I think we all have that, where you've like the business ideas and the business worries are kind of just chirping in your ear, I have some guided meditations that I listen to so they can kind of get into my head and quiet those thoughts that are going on.
I think it's funny because I think our second one for the two of us today, where our interview was saying about how in the morning you should do the first 5 things. And I think that your meditation and her first 5 things will probably be perfect together. It's like the perfect marriage. Because you're getting that clarity, you're getting rid of the negative thoughts, and then you're writing down what you want to accomplish that day. And you're going to need that positive thinking to accomplish those 5 things. Okay. That's just, definitely, it's like a marriage of the ideas.
Oh,
so
how nice.
After we do the meditation, what do we do next?
So I think starting off with meditation is great. It kind of sets you on that even keel for the day. For me, then I like to move into some movement. I mean, that just feels right for me. So it's yoga, it's that morning walk I talked about. It's just kind of getting out of my head and just into my body and giving myself the space to take care of myself. Because I think so often we're at the end of our list of things that to be taken care of. And when we're entrepreneurs especially, and we are our businesses, it's so essential that self-care is part of it. So I make sure, I have that in place. I have my healthy, good breakfast, and then I move into the workday after all those pieces are in place. And I should also mention, I normally spend some time with my husband and my daughter in the morning, getting in those important things, those priorities before we turn all our attention to our business, which sometimes feels like a top priority, but in the scope of things, it's just a piece of our life.
It quickly becomes like your whole life if you don't do what you said, like take time to get out the mind and get into the body. Because even like if you don't take the time to switch from meditation into actual physical activity, a lot of times you'll be going through your routine, but you're still in your head. A friend of mine, he owned this really large, like nationwide cleaning business. And he was like, no matter where he was, even when he was doing volunteer work, he was still like running the business in his head.
Yeah.
I was like, you can't even enjoy it.
It's so true, but we can all relate, right?
Oh yes, definitely. I can also relate to those sleepless nights where you just got nothing but thoughts running through your head. You're like, no, that's a great idea.
I know, and you keep like putting it in your phone. I'm hiding under my pillow so my husband doesn't wake up.
You're like, why can't I cut this down any lower and still type?
Yeah.
Quick question. Why do you think that people need coaching? Because you said that before you had coaching, you were coaching, whatever, I know what to do. But so why do people need coaching?
Yeah, that's such a great question, because coaching is becoming so much more mainstream now. And for a while, it was kind of like, oh, is this all scammy? Is this just like an MLM scheme? And what's going on? And I think the best analogy I can give is no one would expect a top athlete to perform well in the Olympics without a coach. And it's so accepted in that kind of world, in the sports arena. It's like, of course you have a coach. You need someone there who's either walked the path before you or has insight or can help you with your mindset. I mean, that's a huge piece of it for athletes, right? And we totally respect people who seek out a mentor in that way. And yet when it comes to our businesses and our livelihood, we kind of, or at least in the past, people would scoff at you like, oh my gosh, you're investing that much money in someone to help you build your business. But honestly, that investment comes back multifold. At least that's what I've experienced in my own business and with the clients that I've worked with, because it streamlines it. You get to learn from someone else's mistakes. You get to learn from someone else's wins, and they're ahead of you. When you have someone kind of paving the path for you, who's a few steps, a few years down the line, it smooths everything out and helps you realize that it is a journey and that where you are is okay, but it gives you a sense of where you can head to.
True.
I absolutely love what you said. And I was going to pick up on that, because I absolutely love when people take a look at where they are and then have someone to help them get where they want to be. I absolutely love that idea.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. If this were our show, she would go on a 5-minute rant about this, because it's not she does.
Co-hosting this wonderful summit, so I'm not 5-minute rant about it.
Yeah, right. So anyway, that's what people get from coaching, is just having someone there to help them along and tell them where the potholes are, kind of sort of.
That's a huge piece of it. And sometimes we don't even know that there are holes. And that's another really nice thing about having the coach. I actually had, some mentors of mine helping me with my launch, and they were saying things that I hadn't even considered that are making it so much better and filling in the holes that would have resulted in less sales and less people into my program and less women that I could help and serve. And so it's sometimes you're going to a coach and you're saying, okay, this isn't working for me and I need your help. And other times they're just giving you insight that you didn't even know you needed, but it makes everything better.
Oh, wow. Yeah, definitely. It's kind of like having that older sister that already has a business and being like, hey, can you tell me how to navigate high school?
Or I've already been there.
How to navigate
exactly.
the world, you know what I'm saying? So what else do we get besides just experience? I'm sorry, I just assumed there'd be like one more thing.
Sure. Yeah. So I think another amazing thing about having a coach is you get tapped in to their network. And I love the quote that your network is your net worth, because it's been so invaluable for me, the relationships that I've been able to, and not just through my coach, but in general, I'm always actively going out there and trying to build relationships with other entrepreneurial women. But when you have someone, again, who's a few steps ahead of you and has contacts who are a few steps ahead of you, they kind of pull you along with their momentum. And it's really awesome. I mean, I have an amazing woman who's running my Facebook ads now that, I was really struggling with them on my own. And then I had some people who thought they could help me and they really couldn't. And then because I asked my coach, she put me in touch with someone that she's worked with, and she's fabulous. And same thing for my website. For a long time, I had a website that I had built, and, I was trying to save money doing it. And I was finally ready to invest in something. And who else would I ask but my coach? She sent me great contacts, and I found a fabulous woman who did a wonderful job for me. And there's just so many, we all know that getting, for our own business, referrals is the best way to do it. And through your coach, you also get the contacts so that you know you're getting the very best in your own business in the way of referrals. So that's another super amazing benefit, is that you get tapped into these contacts that can help you and your business that you wouldn't have access to otherwise.
I have to say this one thing, like, because, you know, when people go out and they're like, I'm going to get home services, or I'm going to do something with a contractor or something like that, they immediately go to Angie's List or some other place and they review them. And why not when you're starting your own business and you're like, I need these services, would you not try to find someone who's gone ahead of you and been like, hey, this literally is the best person for you and your brand right now in your thing. What are you launching? Because you have mentioned launched like 4 times. So I just was wondering if you like.
Oh, sure. I'm happy to go into it a little bit. It's my group program, which is called Business Clarity Accelerator. It's a 6-week program for women entrepreneurs. And we address all these different elements that help them find that foundational clarity. You know, they get clear on their client, they get clear on what kind of business model they want to have, they get clear on how they can make money in their business, and get a clear plan for moving forward with it. And so that's what I'm in the process of launching right now and enrolling women into.
Wow.
Perfect.
Wow. That is fantastic.
It's a perfect match. It works wonderfully. So now I know that the title for your session is the mindset of success. What does that mindset look like?
Yeah, so I think the first step is to get clear on what success even means for you. You know, it's a term we throw around so much. Like, oh, of course I want to be successful. I'm an entrepreneur and that was my vision. And the thing is that it's so personal when we really dive into it. And my version of success is not yours or the women that are watching. And so the first step is to identify what that even looks like for you. What kind of lifestyle are you going to be living? What kind of income do you want to be making? What kind of luxuries do you want to have? It's, what self-care practices, massages and mani-pedis, or is that not your thing? Just what are all those pieces, and have fun with it and really flesh it out, because we need to have that. Our vision kind of serves as our destination. And until we pinpoint our destination, it's really hard to know how to get there. And so I love starting there with my clients. And then we kind of dial it back and dive into, okay, what's holding you back from that? And a lot of it comes up with the self-doubt of, well, I don't really think I can achieve those 10K months that I want, or I can't, make a multiple 6-figure income with the business that I'm building. Or like in my case, I work just 3 days a week. So a lot of my clients are thinking, oh, I could never just work 3 days a week and still make a full-time income. And so we notice what's coming up for them around that vision that they've created. And we address those things specifically so that they can get in alignment with that vision of success that they have. And then once we have those pieces in place and have a mindset practice that feels really good for them, sometimes it's similar to the one that I described, that's mine, and sometimes it's a little different. Then we dive into the real plan, like the feel-good steps that we can take that is going to actually move them forward towards that success that they're desiring. And so that includes, the nitty-gritty stuff of making sure the website looks great and they have their funnels set up and they have their marketing plan. And then also things like we were kind of touching on with outreach and networking and visibility, like how are they presenting themselves out there, and how can they get involved in summits like this and present themselves as an expert, as a speaker. And so once we have the vision and the mindset in place, it becomes about really putting themselves out there in a way that makes sense for their business.
I was going to say, when you have this successive mindset, it kind of reminds me of like when you said the destination. If you don't have a visualization, you can't get to a destination. It kind of reminds you of going to an airport and being like, I just want to get a plane ticket to someplace cool. They don't sell those.
Yeah.
They really don't.
Yeah, I just want to go somewhere nice.
You're going to have to first pick a place, then make a plan, and then you're going to have to go through the steps of buying the ticket, going through security. Right. So that would be the same thing that you would do for us, and buy that ticket, go through security, and set it up step by step. It's
exactly.
The same thing. So I completely understand why you would need a coach now.
You took my analogy, because I was totally going to say a pilot cannot fly his plane without a planned destination.
A flight plan, right?
You can't do it. You're not gonna ever arrive in the Bahamas if he doesn't have a flight plan. It's not gonna ever happen for you.
Exactly, and people would be totally freaked out to be on that flight.
So where is he? Why are we flying over Kansas?
Yeah,
we're going to the Bahamas.
And so, like, the same thing happening in your business has got to be kind of like, and you're going, why am I failing? Well, that's why. And I can see why you would need that coach to be like, hey, because, you know, a lot of times in an entrepreneurial business, and I'm sure you know this because you had entrepreneur parents and you yourself had a few businesses, you start making steps that you swear will get you where you need to go. And then when you talk to your coach and you're like, no, I know. Oh, that's where it took you. Oh, you know, I am going that same way.
Yeah.
Right. You have to do a U-turn and come back.
Yeah.
And it also ties back, I think, into the mindset. And as you said, if you have a mindset of, okay, this is where I need to go, this is where I need to go, and you're talking to someone, they can make those little flight like adjustments, little course adjustments for you, so you don't have such a hard road. It's just like, I need you to just go a little bit over to the left or to the right.
Exactly.
You can stay on your path.
No turbulence on this flight.
Smooth sailing. Yeah, definitely. It pings you back when you're going a little off course instead of you're like veering in the totally wrong direction. It's a much more difficult thing to get back after that. And also you just feel less alone. Something that so many of my clients say is they just feel so solitary in this journey, that they're at their computer all day. They're, inundated by their business. They're thinking about it all the time, and just having someone, it doesn't have to be a coach, but maybe a mastermind group or another entrepreneurial friend to bounce ideas off of and just talk to and talk things through and realize that, oh, you feel that way too? Oh, thank you for rationalizing it. I thought I was going insane. It's really helpful to get that feedback from someone outside of yourself.
I was going to say, like, I have Jade here, and I think we've been just about every business, including the business I inherited. I took her kicking and screaming into that one.
Watch on Monday, you guys, you'll see that I'm always kicking and screaming as Winona drags me into.
But it's great because she's always there and I can always chat, and that's really, really important. And if you don't have that, then you should probably get a coach. You should definitely want a coach, because at some point you're going to work yourself to the fact that you're like, I think I'm a little nuts now, so I need someone to talk to. And they can help you like, no, we've all worked that hard.
We all worked that hard, or we all had the mindset. Sometimes, we let the negative people into our lives, and then it changes what we think we're going to do. Yes.
No, that is true. But it's hard to fortify yourself against that. But when you work on your own mindset, I find that it's interesting that so many of those people just start drifting out of your life, or their negativity doesn't affect you in the same way when you really work on yourself first.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you just stole my question, because I was about to ask you, how do you actually not get rid of them? It will always be around you. I mean, it's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
But how do you just basically clear what they're saying out of your mind, because you know your destination? How do you do that?
Yeah, I think part of it is setting some boundaries. I mean, if it is someone you can limit your time with who's affecting you negatively, I think that's a healthy thing to do, especially maybe around certain times when you're doing certain things in your business that you feel like you kind of need to protect yourself and shut that out. If they are a present force, I think the best thing you can do for yourself is to, like we were saying before, have a solid mindset practice, have books that you turn to that really inspire you, quotes that you read. If you have certain affirmations that really resonate with you, like put them on Post-it notes around your house, have them on your laptop or as, your screen, on your phone, and surround yourself with as much positivity as you possibly can and as many positive people as you possibly can. I think a lot of times people don't necessarily mean to be negative, but they just, if they're not entrepreneurs, they don't understand what it takes or what the drive is within us. And it's really essential that we have a network of entrepreneurial women who can support us and do understand us. And whether it's in a virtual way, in a summit like this, and just realizing like, oh my God, there are so many women out there who are in this with me, or connecting with a local meetup, or finding a coach if that feels like the right step for you. get someone in your life who can be a positive influence, and that'll really help to counterbalance whatever negativity you feel like is coming in.
So we have.
I really appreciate how you said, "Oh my goodness," it just went right out of my mind. I really appreciate how you said that. It went again. Wow.
So I appreciate the fact that you were saying there's a practical balance and then there's an actual emotional balance to having these coaches. So it's like this so you can do nice flying. And I was thinking for the negative people, to continue our analogy, you can either go above the clouds in the storm, or you can land.
Yeah.
Those are your two choices. If you want to keep going, I think you got to find a way to go above those clouds.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So how do you feel that that coaching and that positive thinking is going to continue to play a role in your business?
Yeah, so it's a huge piece of my business that I didn't totally know was going to be there in the beginning when I entered into coaching. After being on an entrepreneurial path for a while and having some successes with different things, I was like, I can teach the stuff that I've had success with, and it was practical things. It's like, let's get your email list going, and let's get you writing a weekly newsletter, and all those little things that we're told about being consistent and putting those efforts out there. And more and more and more, I'm realizing what needs to be on the front end of all that stuff is this mindset work that we've been diving into together, because without that, nothing else works well. I mean, we can do everything right, but if we don't believe it's going to work and we think it feels like a lot of effort and we're always pushing and stressed out and worried about it, it's just not going to function optimally. Like, it'll get us some results, of course, because we're putting in the time and the work, but until we're really in alignment and feeling like, yes, I'm doing this, and yes, it's going to work out well, it's probably not going to work out well. And so the mindset element is definitely increasing in my coaching, and I think there'll be more products down the line and more events that I host that will be more in that realm, because so many women come into it and they're really self-identifying now, like, hey, I think my mindset is holding me back in my business. And that's not something people were saying a couple of years ago. They were saying, what's your best marketing strategies? And it was all about, the tactical things. And now people are really embracing, what people used to say was more woo-woo, but it's such a practical thing. I mean, of course, if you're talking to yourself negatively, you're going to feel crappy and things are going to be affected. I mean, it just makes sense when you think about it. And
absolutely. If you're talking to yourself negatively, you're not feeling the joy and just the joy from your business. And so when you go to make a network or go to talk to a client, you're not gonna come across as they'll be like, oh, she was okay. But the person that just really believes in their business, like, oh no, this is the best thing ever, blah, blah, blah. You'll be upset. The person will accept it because, oh, wow, they really believe, and I think I believe what they're saying. So I think I need to go with this person.
Exactly. We have to believe in ourselves first, because in the beginning, we're the only spokesperson for our brand. Once we get some momentum going and we get some visibility and we get that network of other people talking about us, it helps. There's that momentum and things start expanding. But in the beginning, if we're not our own champion, no one else is going to be out there doing it for us.
So true. And that's why it's really important to have that positive mindset.
Exactly.
I hate to go from like what you would call the woo-woo to the tactical. But what is one tactical thing that you find through all your coaching that everybody needs?
So I would say something that people come to me with is, I want more clients, or if they're brand new, I want my first client. And they have this vision that they're just going to have this automated business where they send out these automated emails from, ConvertKit or MailChimp or whatever they're using, and they're going to get this influx of clients. And then they try that and it doesn't work, and they're totally baffled. And so I would say one tactical thing that is really helpful is to remember that even though most of us, probably watching with this virtual summit, have virtual businesses, that there still needs to be a human element, and there still needs to be real relationship building. And I get on the phone with people all the time. I send personal emails, I send personal notes, I send gifts. I'm there because I know these women who are working with me are are making a real investment in themselves by working with me. And I respect that and I want to honor that. And so I give them time, even before we're working together, to really get to know them and get to know their businesses and see if we're the right fit. And that's honestly what it takes to, especially in the beginning of your business, to get those clients. It's not a magic formula. It comes right back to, people skills and good customer service. And that's what's going to get you that first client or that first handful of clients. It's that work, showing up and being present for them and holding space so that they feel comfortable working with you.
It's very important because I think we mentioned at the beginning of the summit today at 9 a.m. and then again at like 11 and at 1. And it's been a huge theme that a person is a human being first.
Yes.
Customer service. Yeah. I should say a human being is a person. Right. I should have went the other way.
Yeah.
Anyway.
we got it.
Yes. So it's important to treat them as such. When you give them that customer service, it's something that they're kind of sort of missing. That's what a lot of people are looking for small businesses. That's what millennials were looking for, as we discussed this morning, with honesty and transparency, being able to trust. And it keeps coming back to play this theme, you guys.
Yes. It is most definitely the theme of know that you want someone to treat you like a person, so you treat the other person like a person, and then you'll have a relationship. And even if it's not like a business relationship or a relationship that you make money off of, it's still a part of your network now. Like, I can call this person if I need this to happen, or I can run this idea by this person because now we'll have an understanding.
Exactly. And there's people that I've built relationships with who I've not worked with, but they love what I do and they tell everybody about it. And so that's just as valuable as having them as a client because they're spreading the word about my work, which is another benefit. Sometimes it's like, oh, well, I wasted my time with this person. It's like, it's never a waste of time because you're planting seeds.
Exactly.
Yes.
If you remember, Mr. Cox, right before you, Cailen, has said that how did he build his business? He started in Seattle and went all the way down the Western Coast because word of mouth. And a lot of those people he didn't work with. Some of them he did, some of he didn't. But most of them he started a conversation with, and that business grew that way. So it's like awesome. Like, you have said so many wise things about why we need a coach. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those woo-woo people. Like, oh, that's
no, it really was one of those woo-woo people. I think I convinced her into coaching because we need this. We need someone to tell us, older and wiser, not even older and wiser, just wiser, more business savvy.
Yeah,
exactly. Which means things are working better because we're here, and obviously things are working great for you because you're here. So if all else fails, if you don't listen to anything else we say, the fact that we're here means that it works.
Yeah, it says something, right?
It says at least something, right? I'd like to go all the way back to the beginning when you were saying that the importance of you were doing it yourself for the Facebook ads, and you were doing it yourself for your website.
Yes.
So how did your coach make you feel different again about that? And how did that happen?
Yeah. So I don't even know if it was really my coach, specifically saying something about it, but I just realized in working with my coach that there was no successful woman that I was admiring who did everything herself. It's like I'm looking at my coach and this other mentor and these women that I'm, online, that have online crushes on, like Marie Forleo. I'm like, these women all have teams of people that help them. And here I am trying to do everything by myself, and it's eating up all my time, and I have no time for clients. So no wonder I don't have them. It was kind of this funny cycle I was stuck in. And it wasn't until working with my coach and really thinking like, okay, if I invest in myself and I invest in my business, other people will invest in me. It's this thing that happens. And now I don't know where I would be without my VA, without my virtual assistant. I mean, she's handling everything with the launch right now that thank God, because I would not know what I'd be doing. I've probably sent her 80 emails today, the poor girl. And for the Facebook ads, it's automated. These pieces are just automated now. And now I have plenty of time for my clients and plenty of time for creativity and to build new things for my business. And And like I said, since I'm only working 3 days a week, which is, it's obviously a choice. It's lovely having 4-day weekends, but only having those 3 days, I have to be really protective of my time. And so I couldn't do that without support members in my team.
I really appreciate what you said right there about having to know that we all have our limits. I mean, we talked about this earlier today, you guys. I know you guys were tuned in, but also having our limits, how you said it again, because as women, we feel like we need to do it all. We need to be the mother and be the wife and do everything and especially when you're trying to protect your budget, you're trying to just do it all, and you're not taking time for yourself. And then you're going to have these negative thoughts because you're probably eating really bad. You're not exercising. These are things and then you're going to be like, why I don't have any energy. And then it all goes back to you're trying to do it yourself.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And the support team, like one of my support members is my house cleaner. Like that saves me many hours a week. And it was a funny feeling when I realized in order to build the business I want, I need someone else to clean my house. But that might be the first thing you want to invest in. Like if you're spending hours away from your business trying to just maintain your household, like that might feel really good for you. And then the VA can come second.
So we're going manicure, pedicure, massage, house cleaner, manicure, pedicure, massage.
Yeah.
Important.
It is. And that's all part of, defining what it means for you. I mean, there's other people who might think, oh, that's all frivolous and wasteful, and have a totally different definition of what a successful lifestyle looks like. And that's totally cool too. That's what mine looks like right now. And I have visions for bigger and better as well, but I'm feeling good about where things are.
Now, I remember you said that your parents were entrepreneurial.
Yes.
Right? So you had a good basis. Her parents and my parents, they were entrepreneurs as well. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like in a way that
molded you?
It molded you, but do you feel in a way that you had to break some of those molds, some of the pieces of the mold? Because for the people who are out there who, they know someone or they've been raised that way, you have to like break some of the mold in order to go ahead and make your own?
Oh, completely. Yes. For me, my dad designed and built houses, and my mom was an interior designer. And so the first thing I did right after college, and I loved that, I really considered going to design school and becoming an architect, and I didn't. But right after college, I started an interior design business, and I had some successes. I was in designer show houses. I was the youngest designer in the show house. It was tons of fun, but I realized I was living out my mom's vision, and not because she told me so to do so. It was just, it's all I had known and all I had seen in the entrepreneurial world. And I was familiar with it, and I guess it felt safe.
Yeah.
And so that's where I started. And obviously I'm in a totally different place now. One thing I will say is I knew at the time there was something in me that I wanted to help women live beautiful lives. And so that was kind of the underlying theme in everything I ever did. Even when I was designing houses, it was about creating beautiful lives for people. And so when I finally figured out what that meant for me and the right form it needed to take, that's when the success came that I was desiring. But I definitely had to break that mold, like you were saying.
Definitely. I'm also going to say, I was just talking to somebody about last night. we run a business. I run a business as well, and not just own one. I run somebody else's. I never have time to sleep. Anyway, the point was that the way she does things, I consider it to be old school, and then there's like new school. So do you think that there's a merging in you of those two thoughts? Because did your mom do the coaching thing?
No, she never had a coach or anything like that, and never coached anybody.
Right. So how do you feel it merges in you to have like the way she would have done things and the way you will do things to come together?
I think so. Like I learned a lot of, honestly, the foundational pieces of the mindset work came from my mom. I always remember her saying, perception is reality, and, quoting, who was it? Henry Ford, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Like I heard a lot of that when I was a kid, and it made sense, but I didn't really get it until later on. So it's definitely, having that guidance was helpful. I will say my dad in his business, he was always going to conferences and seminars and listening to speakers. And I don't think he ever had a coach per se, but he definitely had mentors that he followed and would like fly across the country to go see and mastermind with. So I was exposed to the concept of investing in yourself in that way through my dad, which was great to see, and to see the effect it had on his business. I mean, he would come back from that and be on a high, and his business would soar. It was really remarkable.
Oh, nice. See, I'm telling you, if we can replay this, I'm going to tell her to replay this so that she can be like, look, no, not everything I say is insane, and not everything you say. We can marry in the middle. Yeah.
But you said you have several businesses, but your one, I guess you would decide that your purpose was to help women be beautiful. So would you say that it is okay to like keep switching businesses until you find the right one?
I mean, it works for me. So I guess I think it's really important to trust your instinct. And if something's not working, to shift. And as it was happening, it didn't feel like I started and stopped a business. It just felt like they were morphing, like one into the next. And it became what it is now. In this current business, I did have kind of a clear break from my previous one, and I rebranded and I got a new website and all those pieces because I was really clear that this is what I wanted to be doing. But I think it's a journey being an entrepreneur. And honestly, the business that I have now and what I'm doing, I don't want to be doing exactly this in 5 years. I mean, I love being creative and I love the clients that I'm working with, and I know I'm going to keep discovering new and better ways to serve them. And so I'm okay with that. You know, we kind of all want to land and just like, I want to figure it out and have my business. And yes, we do in this moment, but we also have to be okay with the evolution and the transformation of it.
Definitely.
Wow. Yes.
Definitely. Because so I think it goes back to like a failure is never a failure. It's just kind of like try again.
Yes.
And then you can take all those lessons and everything you learned before and then put it into that. And with some coaching, oh my word. Can you imagine how much of a gold mine each one of us is? Oh my word. It's amazing. I'm going to give right now, I'm going to try to give like 15 seconds for anybody who can come up with a question to raise their hand and say said question. And if no one does, I'm going to keep going. I'm just letting you guys know. Okay, no one's coming up with anything.
So I wanted to ask you, what are the 4 things that you would like someone to take away from all that you have to say? You have some wonderful points. What are the 4 points you would like someone to take away?
Sure. So I think one thing that we obviously came back to is the whole theme of our conversation today is mindset. Do not underestimate the power of having a positive mindset. It can change everything for you and your business. So make that priority number 1. Like no matter what else is going on in your life, just work to be a little nicer to yourself and believe in yourself a little more. And that's going to make such a difference. I think another really important thing is to define what success looks like for you. You know, we talked about creating that kind of vivid vision of what it is and getting clear on what it is that you really are after so that you have that destination point set. I think another piece of it is thinking about how you can invest in yourself. And it might not mean a coach right now, but to show yourself that you believe in yourself, sometimes making some kind of commitment or some kind of investment, like even just showing up for this summit today and listening to all these speakers, that's an investment in you and your business. And, you know, there's probably lots of other people who, you know, wouldn't make the time to do this, but you're here and you're doing it. And that's amazing. And I think the last piece is just a quote that I like sharing with my clients is that the journey has to align with the destination. So if you're showing up every day in your business and you're stressed and you're worried and, you know, freaking out about stuff, it's not going to get you to that like happy, satisfied, easeful, successful place that you're desiring. In order to get there, you have to start being that as much as you can possibly be right now. And that is what's going to build that momentum and streamline that whole journey to get you there faster.
Wow.
Those are some fantastic points, you guys.
It's points I actually have to learn.
I hope you guys have written them down. Where can people find you? Your website, Instagram, whatever you do?
Yeah, I'm on pretty much all social medias. Cailen Ascher, CailenAscher, and also that's my website. So CailenAscher.com, and I have lots of great freebies there. The one that I'm currently sharing is your 3-day work week schedule, and I share my template for 3-day work weeks that get you 5-figure months, and then also help you design your own ideal 3-day work week if that's something that's part of your vision of success.
No day is my vision, but I'll take 3. I'll take it there. It's getting there. Thank you so much, Cailen, for sharing where they can find you, and for being here at the Virtual Women's Success Summit. I got that right.
You did.
Yes. Okay. And this is where you can find us. We are at andwethought.com. We are also the And We Thought Ladies, and this is the And I Thought series, available at amazon.com and barnesandnoble.com. We want to thank you all for being here today.
We hope you enjoyed the rest of the
Cailen
summit.
and Ascher, and telling us how we can give the successful mindset, and with us, the ladies. And we hope that you enjoy the next speaker coming up on the Virtual Women's Success Summit. Woo! Got that one in again. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Bye.